Good morning, everyone. I'm glad you could join me this wonderful Monday morning here in Southern California. It looks like it's going to be pretty warm this week, so I'm glad that you're joining me here. I wanted to come to you as a real estate agent that was in the business many, many years ago, and I believe that real estate is one of the most phenomenal positions to hold, especially with helping individuals experience the American dream. You are the first point of impact that many, many people are going to have with getting their home, their American dream. And for some, you know, it's going to be their second time. They may have lost their home, but we're going to get into that in just a little bit. I wanted to share a little bit with you about who I am. Who are you, Linda Martinez? I'm also known as the Queen of Credit Repair. I wanted you to know a little bit about me. I'd really love to know a little bit more about you. I've worked in the banking industry, and that was one of my first positions when I graduated from high school. I believe it was one of the most impactful jobs that I ever had because it taught me about money, how to use money, what a debit, what a credit was, how to balance your checkbook. So that was a really great job for me to have. I believe that everyone should work for a bank at least one time in their life. It will help you with how to manage money. I later was able to acquire a job at a savings and loan, which was incredible. It was a great experience for me. I was able to be put in the loan department. There I was able to see the way loans were processed, how individuals were qualified, and you know, I had the opportunity to present loan documents and you know, get them ready for the buyer and send them to escrow, or sometimes, you know, the savings and loan handled the loan itself, and there we prepared docs for them. I was recruited by a realtor who sold us our first home, and I was recruited into his office. He had his own real estate office where his wife was an escrow officer. I was pretty young at the time, and she invited me to come to work with them, and she trained me to be an escrow officer. That was another incredible opportunity into the real estate market. And from there, you know, they encouraged me to get my license. I had two small children at the time. My husband and I were very young, worked a full-time job, but you do what you need to do to try and get ahead in this world. And so I'd come home from work. I'd go to, it was a real estate school at the time called Lumblow, and I would go there every day after work. And it took me months to finish the school, but I did. And I did acquire my real estate license. So that was a really great opportunity for me. But then the real estate market started to turn. And I don't know, for some of you, I mean, the interest rate at one point was up at 27%, and there were people doing wraparound loans. People couldn't qualify. It was just a very, very challenging time. So I stepped away from the real estate industry, and I took over my uncle's oil hauling business, and I would pick up oil from different gas stations and automotive shops, and it was a change, but I loved being out in the open, and it was really important for me to have a job at this time that worked around my children's schedule, so I would be able to send them off to school, be there when they came home. So I did that for a few years. Very, very interesting, but it was very, very challenging as well. And then I decided, you know what, I need to get back to the real estate industry. I really love it. That's where my passion is. And so I was able to get involved with another escrow company at the time, worked for them for a while, and then was recruited to become a home warranty rep. So I worked with realtors and lenders for about 18 years in the home warranty industry. And along that time, I was introduced to a company called Financial Education Services. Phenomenal company, and I was very interested in credit restoration because my husband and I had experienced some very, very hard times in the beginning of our saving our money to buy a home, and not really knowing the way the credit game was played. So credit restoration was very appealing to me. I had done it, 25 years earlier to restore my husband and myself, our credit, because we weren't taught. So that's how I ended up with financial education services, seeing how the economic times that we're living in was changing and that people were going to need help. And this is where we're at today. People need help. The role of a real estate agent in the credit crises, your future home buyers. These individuals have been placed, many of us have been placed in this financial crisis, and it's taken millions of Americans out of the housing market. Foreclosures, short sales, bankruptcies, the spiraling debt, the job-depleted economy, and it's trashed the traditional predictor of risk, the consumer credit score. And as a real estate professional, you face the challenge of dealing with clients who are going to have marred credit scores for years to come. And for many of these credit-challenged consumers, the real estate agent is the first point of contact for their attempt at grasping the American dream of home ownership. You are. And in most home buying scenarios, it's typically the real estate agent, sometimes the lender, who is the first to make contact with a client. And what you do next can impact that borrower and their ability to buy a home for the first time or possibly the second time. Good credit is the key that will open that door. Financial education services offers credit-enhancing services which educate the consumers on the importance of good credit, because we weren't taught how to manage credit in high school. Most of us learned through experience, and sometimes it wasn't really good. So we teach how to get it, how to maintain it, and how to protect it. FES can be used as a tool by you to get your buyer's credit repaired. Once your buyer's credit is repaired, then they're able to qualify for a loan, and that means buy a home. So if you as an agent build that pipeline of credit-worthy buyers, that means more commissions for you. FES was founded in 2004. We're headquartered in Farmington Hills, Michigan, and we've served over 150,000 clients with over $50 million in sales. We're debt-free, and we still have the same owners. Phenomenal human beings. Some of the products and services, I just want to go over it with you. We have an array of services that help with financial education, helps with protecting families. We have something called Positive Credit Builder. There's some people that may have, their credit is okay. It's not real bad, but it's not as good as it could be. And this product helps build their credit, pulls their credit, tells them what they need to do, bills they need to reduce, what they need to pay off, what they need to fix. How many people want to get out of debt? Almost everybody I know. We have a program for that as well. And 97% of Americans do not have a will and a trust. Very, very important. We've left our assets unprotected. And the number one theft in America today is identity theft. And so we have something called LifeLock. I'm sure you've seen it on television. Many of us need it. All of us need it. Something called Financial Lockbox. This is so important because I hear stories so often about how people may have a loved one that passes on and they can't find any of the paperwork. Well, this Financial Lockbox is online, extremely protected, and all of the information about you can be placed in this Financial Lockbox. So when something does happen, or if it happens, all of that information is accessible. We also have term life insurance for our agents, and we do have something that was just unveiled on Friday called our Black Card. It is a debit card, a prepaid debit card that actually builds credit. There's nothing else like this on the market today. You can pay your bills and build credit at the same time. Incredible. And of course we have our financial education, credit restoration services with United Credit. So do you think that people should have these things? Why don't they? And I believe, we believe, according to statistics, that it is a lack of financial education. So I'm going to go through really quick the 10 greatest myths about your credit. This is really important because there's so many things that we've been told that are not true. Myth number 1, credit agencies are empowered with some kind of governmental authority. Many people think that, and that couldn't be further from the truth. And the truth is, credit agencies have no legal authority at all. They're simply private companies who are in the business of selling your credit information. They're private companies. They didn't ask my permission or your permission to gather this information about us and sell it. Myth number 2, the credit agencies are required by law to keep derogatory items on your credit report for 7 to 10 years. There is no law that says that credit agencies can report anything on us at all. Just the opposite is true. Credit agencies are required by law to automatically remove all derogatory items older than 7 years, and in the case of bankruptcy, 10 years. But they don't. I have several clients who've come to me maybe 12, 13 years after the fact of bankruptcy, and it's still showing up there. So many times you have to fight to get these items off of your credit file. Myth number 3, it is impossible to get a bankruptcy off. Bankruptcies come off just like any other derogatory that is incorrectly reported, obsolete, erroneous, misleading, or incomplete, or that cannot be verified. Remember, the nature of the item has nothing to do with its removal under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And that's what has made the playing field a little bit more even, is that the credit reporting agencies report information on us. We have the right. In 1977, legislation was passed that we have the right to dispute anything that's on our credit file, and it's up to the credit reporting agencies to get back to us within 30 days with a response, or it has to be deleted. The information on your credit report cannot be changed. Totally incorrect. The opposite is true under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Both federal and various state laws require that items be removed if they are not 100% accurate or cannot be verified in a timely manner, which is 30 days. Myth number 5, it is illegal or immoral to have the information on your credit report altered or removed. Not only is it not illegal or immoral, but it is what the Fair Credit Reporting Act is all about. It was enforced by Congress for the very purpose of protecting consumers from the intrusion of the credit agencies into our lives. So it is our right. Myth number 6, paying a past due debt removes it from your credit report. Oh, goodness. How many times have I had clients that said, but I paid it. Why is it still showing up? Or I've paid it, and I have another collection agency that wants payment on it. And I ask them, do you have proof that you paid it? I can't find it. Well, guess what? There's strategically, you need to do this properly, or it'll just come back. So just because you pay an old debt does not change or erase the fact that at one time you were not paying on it as you agreed. Can this record be changed? Absolutely I can. And in fact, I have had several agents come to me and share with me that they're in the process of getting ready to close escrow, and something either comes in, whether through the title company or escrow, the lender picks something up that needs, an old debt needs to be paid off. And maybe that client is so close in their FICO score. Well, what happens is when they pay that off, the FICO score will drop. You would think, you know, I'm paying it off, it should go up. No, it brings that collection or that debt alive and up to the front, and it starts reporting as current. and it will impact your score. So there have been many escrows that have not been able to be closed because these items were paid through escrow. Have escrow, hold them, and pay after, because they're most likely going to run your score again. Make sure and verify all the information. With everything that is in place right now with lenders, it is very, very challenging to get a loan these days. I mean, you have to dot your I's and cross your T's. So just be very, very careful what you do. Myth number 7, inquiries are not derogatory and will not affect your credit standing. Anything that erodes your financial credibility is damaging to your credit standing. And in the case of inquiries, 1 or 2 is not too bad, but any more than that, and they begin to tell a story of their own. And any prospective creditor, grantor, will look at your credit report and think that you are desperate for credit. I had a gentleman last week that said, oh my goodness, he was calling for credit restoration. He had 15 inquiries from different dealerships. He went to get a car, purchase a car, and that credit department in the dealership, I guess, ended up sending it out to several different brokers. He had 15 inquiries. That hurt his FICO score. Myth number 8, if you get a derogatory item removed, it will just come back. Not if it's removed legally. When it is removed with cause under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, it cannot legally be placed back on your credit report. The same law that required its removal prohibits it from being placed back on. So please be mindful of that. It's very, very important that it be removed correctly. My favorite, debt collectors can call you repeatedly at work, threaten to sue you, take your house, or put you in jail if you don't pay up on old credit card bills. The stories that I have heard from different individuals who've been bullied and harassed is absolutely amazing. From being an unfit mother to having the police go to your home the next day because you have committed fraud. It is illegal, totally, totally illegal for collection companies to speak to you that way. It's really important that you know your rights under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, and I do have a video on that. You can go to my website. I'll share it with you after the end of this presentation where you can go, and I have a video series there for you. Knowledge is power, and an educated consumer is a smart consumer. The federal law enacted in 1977 to curb abuses by third-party debt collection agencies carries protections against harassment, threats, and being bullied. So it's really important that you know that. I have something called a validation of debt letter. Just because a collector sends you a letter of collection, under the law, you can require them to validate that debt, and it's specific. So if you need a letter like that, please do contact me and I will provide it for you. It must be sent within 30 days from being contacted, and it's strategic as far as what they have to provide the collectors. Your agreement was with, I'm going to say Macy's, use them as an example. Perhaps you fell into hard times, you weren't able to pay your bill, Macy's didn't want to negotiate with you, and so it went to collection. They filed it as a loss, and they sold that debt to ABC Collection Company. But your agreement was with Macy's, it wasn't with ABC Collection. So there are certain guidelines and certain rights that you have that they have to validate in order to collect. And don't ignore the letters. Don't ignore them. Very, very important. You have to address it. Many times if you are summoned to go to court and you provide a validation of debt letter to the judge that the company did not validate that debt, it's extremely high that is going to be thrown out of court. It's very, 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 very possible. Very possible. And it has. You know, every state is different. Everyone has different laws. Here in California, the laws are here to protect the consumer. You can also Google the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act for extensive information on your rights. And myth number 10, I cannot restore my credit on my own. Yes, you can. You can try to do it yourself, just like you can represent yourself as an attorney in a court of law, and just like you can make out your income taxes. But I would prefer to allow an experienced professional to defend me in a court of law and even prepare my taxes. And that goes the same with credit restoration. So allow us to help you and leverage your rights under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Now, today's realities, enough with the myths. Today, we're living in the toughest financial era since the Great Depression. Average U.S. debt is close to $20,000, including mortgages within a home. 25% of Americans have no savings, and 50% have no retirement. 86% have no idea if they are on track to retire, and 90% have no will, trust, or power of attorney, and every 3 seconds an identity is stolen. So are you seeing the big picture here? You know, it's all relative about getting ourselves financially fit. It's very, very relative. Over 43 million people today have a 599 credit score or lower. Credit restoration. Today your credit score is like a vital sign. It's being monitored at all times. About 25% of the population has a 599 score or below. And over the course of your lifetime, less than excellent credit could cost you anywhere from $200,000 up to $1 million in interest and additional fees. It doesn't seem very much when we're paying through the month. Maybe you're paying a few $100s, anywhere from $300 to $800 more a month on credit cards, on car loans, on bank loans, whatever it is, because your FICO score isn't high enough, and therefore your interest rates are higher. But you start multiplying that daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, it adds up. About 43% of employers use credit scores as a factor in determining who they will hire. My daughter was just hired at a credit union about 8 months ago, and she had to have a score of 750 or above on her file. Jewelry stores, I mean, you need to have a pretty decent credit score there as well. You know, you're dealing with things of value. You're dealing with people's money, their credit. So you need to have good credit too in these areas. About 80% of all credit reports have errors on them, causing lower credit scores. I recommend that everyone pull their credit at least a few times a year. I recommend annualcreditreport.com. And what you can do is you can get a free report from all 3 agencies. I don't recommend you get them all at one time, but every 4 months, pull one from Experian, pull one from Equifax, and pull one from TransUnion. With that, you can get a pretty good picture of what's going on in your credit file for the whole year. It is really important that you check that out. It's amazing how many people do not realize that they have identity theft until they look at their credit file and notice that there have been some credit card debt. There's cards on there that aren't theirs. Or maybe they start getting something in the mail that they're late on a credit card and it's not even theirs. There's mistakes on your credit file, so make sure to check them out. Over the past decade, millions of Americans have watched their credit scores rapidly decline because of tough economic times. And again, credit bureaus are just privately held billion-dollar companies. They do not verify the items placed on your credit reports, and they're supposed to by law, but there's millions of data entries. So they're just taking the word of the creditor that maybe you were late, but maybe you weren't, or maybe it's someone that has the same name as you, or the social is very close, or the address is very close. So they make mistakes, and they pay fines each year for failing to update credit files correctly. Don't make money. They don't make money correcting credit. They only make money selling your information to big industries and companies. Can you restore your score? Absolutely. The Fair Credit Reporting Act gives Americans the right to dispute and investigate any item on your credit report. Inaccurate, erroneous, obsolete, late payments, charge-off, foreclosures, all these things can be removed from your credit file. But you must do it properly. So what is the solution? The solution is fix it. And that's where United Credit Education Services comes into play. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. We have one of the most comprehensive credit information sites on the internet today. The address is www.united-credit.org. That's united-credit.org. You can go there and gather some incredible information. I would say go to the FAQs. Very, very important. We have some testimonials. We have credit education. And so this is what we provide for anyone that wants more information. But perhaps you have a client, an individual who wants to get their credit fixed. This is where they will come to log in to their own personal site. Once they're enrolled with us, within 48 hours, they have their own website. They'll be able to see what their FICO score is. They're going to see so much information. They're going to be able to have customer support from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, Eastern Standard Time. Live support that can answer any questions this individual may have about their credit. They're also going to be able to go in to see what their progress, what's happening, what items are being disputed, what has been deleted, what is in process. Now this is amazing because if you look over in the right-hand side where it says summary, this individual had 10 original accounts. And during the process of credit restoration, there were 2 more derogatory items that came on to their file. We don't charge them for extra derogatories that show up. We just handle the situation for them, and we dispute it for them. So it's pretty awesome that they have the opportunity to work with us. We work with them, and it's a process that will take them it may not take them a year, but we provide a year worth of service for that client. And that's about 5 cycles of letters that we prepare for them every couple of months. They're going to get the updates back. They're going to send them to us. We're going to update their file. We're going to send them a new set of letters, delete the old stuff that's come off, and then address what's left. Pretty awesome. We have a 9-year track record, an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. We're certified by the National Association of Credit Services Organizations, which is an extremely, extremely difficult seal of approval to acquire. We went through rigorous investigation. They came in, they went through all of the individual's background, how we process, if we had any complaints. It was amazing. So we were able to get their seal of approval. We have removed almost 600,000. That's over 500,000 derogatory items from people's credit reports. And we've removed over 60,000 public records. And we have a satisfaction money-back guarantee. So what would it be worth to have excellent credit? $5,000? I know people that have paid that. No. How about $2,500? Nope. I know people that have paid that as well. What about $1,000? I know people that have paid that as well. And I have to tell you, very, very important to be careful of where you have credit restored. There are many mom and pops out there. There are many people out there that will take the money and you don't hear from them again. I hear stories all the time. So be careful, do your due diligence. Make sure that they do have a Better Business Bureau rating that is superior. Make sure they've been in business for a long time. And it's not $1,000. Okay, are you ready for this? 1 year of service, a flat fee of $4.99 with 100% satisfaction money-back guarantee. That's a pretty good price, right? Well, listen, we have another option for you. We have a monthly option at $199 for the first month. That would be a $160 activation fee and $39 a month, and $39 a month thereafter. There's no contract. They can keep the service until they've reached their desired credit score. So we've provided a few options for you. Depending on what their credit is like, I would suggest, looking at these options. If you have a lot of items to be disputed, it might be more cost effective to do the flat fee of $4.99. If you just have a couple of items, maybe the $199 with $39 a month is a better option for you. But that's what we provide for your client. Now here are the 4 steps to getting started. And I want to share this with you because the whole purpose of this is to help you. Have you thought about incorporating this as a tool for you? Will this add value to you, to what you do? Absolutely it will. Will you be able to have a better connection with your client, helping them restore their credit? Absolutely. So by providing a valuable service for your clients, their family, friends, you set yourself apart. You would be creating a never-ending pipeline of potential clients. Think about it. How many of these people have family and friends that need this service and don't know where to go? But if they came to you, someone that they trusted, and then you eventually help them, educate them, and get them qualified so that they can get a loan and get a home, this is an incredible tool. We have exclusive marketing tools that would help generate leads for you, for your database. You get your own personal website, and it goes on and on. This is the website part of it. Of course, it scrolls down, but I couldn't do it for you on this slide. But it has all of your pertinent information, how they get in contact with you. We also have this information in Spanish. Huge market here in California. So many of the Latin community don't know where to go, and they need someone that they trust. And this goes for everyone. Here's our seal of approval that you can see, but it's a phenomenal website that has a back office that tracks everything. Your client status, training, extensive training for you, video library, marketing tools, everything that you could possibly need. So to become an agent, you're probably wondering, well, how much is this going to cost me? It's pretty ridiculous. It's $249. It's $249 to become an agent. Now, if you need any of these services, then that would change the amount of the enrollment for you to $199. But you would receive agent and customer support. We're paid weekly. There's tax advantages. You know how important it is to have tax write-offs in the business that we're in. Your own free website. Again, training is available. But you're building a pipeline of credit-worthy clients. Step 2, be your own best customer. This is a debit card that I shared with you that builds credit, and no other credit card, prepaid debit card, does that. Step 3, how many people do you know that have a debit card? How many people do you know that have less than perfect credit? They don't have a will or a trust, whose identity is unprotected, would like a system of how to pay off debt. It's all about education. It's about educating people. The more educated that you become in this area, it makes you more valuable as an individual. And we need to bring value to our customers, to our family, to our friends. That's what sets us apart from everyone else. We have online trainings, conference call trainings, trainings coming out of the ears, you know, to become more educated, more knowledgeable. So my friends, this is a short presentation. I want to congratulate you for being part of this webinar. It's pretty amazing. If you have any questions, I would love to help you, but I truly want you to think about integrating this tool into what you are doing. The holidays are coming. People like to sit and not do anything. I'm talking about the consumer as well. You know, we need to drive them into taking a look at what their credit file is like, preparing them so that they can be in a position to purchase a home in the springtime. You know, there's no quick fixes anymore. Things take time. So my friends, you have my telephone number, my direct number. You have my email address. And if you go visit my website, thequeenofcreditrepair.com, you can sign up and get your free ebook right on the spot. It's been wonderful being here with you today, and my wish for you is to continue and live abundantly. You make it a great day. Bye-bye.